Satchinandana Guru Hare. Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana Guru Hare. Jai Satchinandana Guru Hare. Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana Guru Hare. Mayapura Chanda Gaura Hare, Mayapura Chanda Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo. Hare Govinda Bala, Hare Gopala Bala, Govinda Bala, Hare Gopala Bala, Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Bala, Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Bala, Hare Radha Hare Govinda Bala. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you for this most important discussion on the 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we shall be diving deep into the meaning of what is Bhakti-Yoga, which is practically the essence of Bhagavad Gita also. So before we start today's discussions, let us all chant the Mangalacharanam prayers together, seeking the blessings of the Guru Parampara, Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Chaitanya, Panchatattva, to help us get a deeper understanding of what Bhakti Yoga means. This shortest, easiest, simplest path to go back home, back to Godhead. What it is that we shall be seeing today within the time available to us. The whole chapter I will be completing today only. Most of the chapters took us 2 sessions, but this session is going to be just 20 shlokas in this chapter, and we shall try to complete it in the available 1 hour's time. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रा सुभद्राभ्यां श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओं तत्सत्। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। हरे कृष्णा। இந்த வகுப்பு ஆரம்பிக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னால் மீண்டும் பக்தர்கள் அனைவரையும் வரவேற்கிறேன். சில கேள்விகள் வழக்கம் போல இதுவரைக்கும் பார்த்த பகுதிகளை அடிப்படையில் யார் வேணுமானாலும் அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம். இதுவரைக்கும் நாம் 11 அத்தியாயங்களை கடந்து வந்திருக்கிறோம். என்னென்ன வகையான யோகங்களை பற்றி பகவான் பேசியிருக்கிறார். ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா. என்னென்ன யோகங்களை பற்றி பகவான் பேசியிருக்கிறார். அன்மியூட் பண்ணிக்கிறது ஏதாவது ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கா? ஹேண்ட் ரைஸ் பண்றீங்களா?
ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா பிரபு.
ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா பிரபு, சொல்லுங்க.
கர்ம யோகா, தியான யோகா, பக்தி யோகம் பிரபுஜி.
பக்தி யோகம் இன்னைக்கு பார்க்க போறோம். நிச்சயமா அதை பத்தி பகவான் பேசிட்டே தான் இருக்கார் தொடர்ச்சியா. இன்னைக்கு அத்தியாயம் முழுக்க பக்தி யோகம் பார்க்க போறோம்.
கர்ம யோகா, ஞான யோகா பிரபுஜி.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, I am sorry, I had some problem with my internet. So I am back again and I will speak in English. By oversight, I was also speaking in Tamil for a while. So I wanted one of you to explain what is the meaning of Karma Yoga.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. By doing one's responsibilities, one's duties, without expecting the, what to call, I'm not getting this word, benefit of,
Without attachment to the fruits.
without attachment, yes.
So actually, Karma Yoga, you can also say that one performs his duties as per the Varnashrama.
Okay,
So that is where the duty comes. As per Varnashrama, whatever Varna, whatever Ashrama that I belong to, I should execute those duties properly.
okay,
That itself becomes Karma Yoga.
okay,
But if I also do it without attachment to the fruits, that goes one step further. And then you
Okay.
call it Nishkamya Karma Yoga.
okay, okay,
But those fruits, if you offer to Krishna, then you go even one step further and you are
Okay.
entering into Bhakti Yoga.
fine, fine.
So this way we can understand. And thank you, Prabhu. What is Jnana Yoga?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. What could be Jnana Yoga?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji,
Mataji.
for what you asked for Karma Yoga,
Yes.
generally we do Nitya Naimishtika Karma, right, Prabhuji?
Yes. So
That
Nitya
Nitya
Naimishtika
Naimishtika
Karma also flows out of Varnashrama only. Now, if we don't accept Varnashrama, then karma itself becomes meaningless. Karma has meaning only in the context of Varnashrama. Because in Varnashrama, the entire population is divided into 4 categories. According to the dominant guna, a person is classified as either Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. And then they also go through the 4 ashramas. Shudras don't go through all the 4 ashramas. Brahmanas go through all the 4. Kshatriyas through 3. Like that it goes. So depending on one's varna and one's ashrama, certain duties are prescribed in the Shastras like Manu Samhita, etc. Those duties are classified, as you said, into Nitya and Naimitika karmas. These karmas have to be performed. And also my occupational duty, whatever be my occupational duty, as a, let us say, a Brahmana, Brahmachari, what are my duties? Or as a Kshatriya, Grihastha, what are my duties? So combining the Varna and Ashrama, my duties become clear to me. Accordingly, I have to perform, that becomes Karma Yoga. But when I do it without attachment to the results, then it becomes Nishkamya Karma Yoga. It's like that. Now I want to know what is Jnana Yoga. Mohandas Prabhu, please.
Jnana Yoga, Prabhuji, is the process of meditation, tapasya, austerities, penances for years together. That is, it's very difficult to commit and achieve the human goal. Sometimes they will also fall down. Just like our Saint Vishwamitra, say you fall down from the scriptures. It's very difficult to control the mind also.
Okay, right. Thank you, Prabhu. Does anyone want to add further to what is Jnana Yoga?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Jnana Yoga is a practice of meditation by which we control the mind and senses and focus on the Paramatma.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Mataji.
I think it is a path of knowledge, also known as the path of self-realization. So it is like you said before, like the Bhakti Yoga is sandwiched between the Karma Yoga and the Jnana Yoga, which will come later. So
Yes.
it is a path of realization, self-realization, or the path of knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, I accept that. But how is it done? Can anybody explain how Jnana Yoga is done?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I add one more point? Actually, Karma Yoga is the first step.
Yes.
For carrying out the Jnana Yoga.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Actually, Nishkamya Karma Yoga will lead you to Jnana Yoga automatically. Okay. This is the ladder called the Yoga ladder. Nishkamya Karma Yoga will lead you to Jnana Yoga. And what is Jnana Yoga? To realize that I am a spirit soul. I am not this material body. I am a spirit soul. So that is the Jnana Yoga. It leads you to the realization of Brahman. That everything is Brahman. You come to that understanding. So, for example, the Virat Rupa. The Virat Rupa is supposed to be a temporary material manifestation of Brahman. So, Brahman is actually formless, but temporarily takes the form of Virat Rupa, like that. So the Jnanis at best realize the Virat Rupa or the Brahman. It's what the maximum they get. But the process is, when you said meditation or sense control, etc., yes, they are part of Jnana Yoga, because unless you purify your mind, true knowledge you cannot get. But that is not the main ingredient of Jnana Yoga. The main ingredient of Jnana Yoga is something else. Does anybody want to say that? Vinay Sanatan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vinay Sanatan Prabhu's hand is up, so we'll hear him first.
I am telling something about Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga means there is a kind of stage, Jam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dhyan, Dharana, Samadhi. That is a stage of the Dhyana Yoga. Means it power. This is not our goal for Gota Krishna Loka Golaka Vrindavan. This is not. This is only you can realize the super soul. Only you can going only the Paramatma. But this is not real knowledge for us, for a devotee. Because if you take shelter Dhyana Yoga, you can attaining in the 8 power. Then Anima, Lagima, Garima, Bashita, Kam, Bashiyata. That same 8 power. You can, if you need to a small, a small. If you need to big, that you can big. That is only Dhyana Yoga. This is not for the devotional life. This is
Okay.
not our goal.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vinay Prabhu. Actually, I was still on Jnana Yoga. I have not yet moved to Dhyana Yoga.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. May I try, Prabhuji? I think it is through either books or from Guruji. Either you approach a Guruji and learn what is the real knowledge, the self-realization and the knowledge. So either reading books, but even better is to approach a Guru and to understand that what is Gyan Yoga. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, yes. Guru is absolutely necessary to make any kind of spiritual progress. And reading of books is perfect. That's a very good explanation how you get jnana. The Guru explains from a book. What is the most important book for these jnanis?
Prabhuji, Vedanta
Bhagavad Mahapuran, Bhagavad Gita.
We are talking about Jnana Yoga.
Vedas, Prabhuji. Vedas.
Hare Krishna, not yet there. Yes.
Prabhuji, Vedanta Sutras.
Vedanta Sutra is what the Jnanis go by. Adi Shankaracharya chose to write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra itself was written by Vyasadeva, and he has written a natural commentary called Srimad Bhagavatam. But Adi Shankaracharya wrote his own commentary on Vedanta Sutra, where he twisted the meanings. Because Vedanta Sutra is written in a slightly indirect fashion in the form of formula, so it can be twisted the way you want. So Adi Shankaracharya twisted the meaning to give an impersonal explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. So he ultimately established that God is ultimately impersonal, formless. He has no form, no qualities, no activities like that. So that is what the Jnanis follow, and that is what they want to attain. They want to attain the formless Brahman. That is Jnana Yoga. The Jnana Yoga process aims to achieve that. So they don't necessarily go into pranayama, pratyahara and all. They are mainly into analyzing, Sankhya Yoga. Jnana Yoga is also called Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means counting, that means you analyze, when you analyze the world around you, you come across so many elements and you start counting, okay, this element, this element, this element. Like that, you start counting everything. So ultimately, you get something like 24 or 25 elements. And then you realize there is the soul which is not counted in any of these elements. Then you come to the conclusion that, okay, there is the soul beyond this material universe, which is not visible, which is totally imperceptible. But the soul is actually behind whatever is happening in this material world. So through Sankhya Yoga, one comes to the understanding of the soul, which is beyond the material manifestation. And that is what Kapila Dev, who is a son of Devahuti and Kardama Muni, he gave that philosophy. That is Jnana Yoga. So for Jnana Yoga also, you have to purify your mind. Otherwise, you will be very much body focused. So you won't be able to understand the transcendental knowledge. So that is what. But what is Dhyana Yoga? Already our Vinay Sanatan Prabhu was explaining what is Dhyana Yoga. It is also called Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga. Does anybody know all the 8 angas? Really, there is no need to know. But in case somebody knows, you can say what these 8 angas are. Ashtanga Yoga. Does anyone know what these Ashtangas are? Just to show that it is such a difficult thing to perform. Ashtanga Yoga. Yes, Kalikamar Ghosh Prabhu.
Probably it is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pratyahara, Dhyana, Samadhi.
Yeah.
I think something missed in between.
You just missed pranayama, pratyahara,
Yes.
then dharana, dhyana, and samadhi.
Yes.
So perfect. These are the 8 steps. So each of these steps are very difficult. Even yama and niyama are very difficult. Because even at the stage of yama and niyama, tremendous amount of discipline is required and brahmacharya is required. Brahmacharya means complete control of senses and mind, and very good discipline is required. That the body and mind should obey you. That is the first step. So many restrictions, disciplines are there. Then only you can go into asana, then pranayama, breath control, pratyahara, sense control, then dharana, focusing the mind on one thing, then you go into dhyana on the Lord, and then samadhi. You become absorbed in the Paramatma. So that is the dhyana yoga. But now Krishna is going to tell us about Bhakti Yoga. And you know, Bhagavad Gita consists of 700 shlokas. So Bhakti Yoga is the most important yoga. So how many shlokas should it contain? At least if you take the average 700 by 18, it should be at least 40 shlokas. Average of one chapter should be 40. But Bhakti Yoga consists of only 20 shlokas. Only 20 shlokas. To show that Bhakti is actually very, very simple. Even though people find it so hard to accept Bhakti Yoga, they will make any amount of efforts to pick up Dhyana Yoga or Nishkamya Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, but people find it very difficult to come to Bhakti Yoga. So Prabhupada said, actually Bhakti Yoga is very simple but not easy. People will not easily pick it up. They will say, no, something must be wrong. It is too easy. The spiritual process cannot be so easy. It must be more complex. Then they are attracted to Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, which is actually very, very difficult to perform. Or even Nishkamya Karma Yoga, very, very difficult to perform. They would rather gravitate towards those options. It's not easy to come to Bhakti Yoga. And particularly in Kali Yuga, we are all very confused people, very bewildered people. So we cannot stick to one path. We keep moving here and there. That way, Bhakti becomes difficult. But the Lord has kept specifically only 20 shlokas to describe Bhakti Yoga, to say that actually it's not complex at all. It is actually very, very easy. If we can have a simple heart with which to surrender to the Lord, Bhakti Yoga becomes so very easy to perform. So now we will start the shlokas, and then we will see for ourselves. Very, very simple language is used. So it's very easy to follow this decision. So the very first shloka, 1 and 2 I will read, then we will explain. Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktas-tvam paryupasate echapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vitthamaha. Shri Bhagavan uvacha mayyaveshya mano ye mam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetas teme yuktatamo mataha. So Arjuna is asking straightforward question. Who are perfect people? And he is telling two kinds of people. He is naming them and he is asking between these two who is better? Who is best? So first is Bhaktas, who worship Krishna in his personal form. This is one. Arjuna is one. Arjuna belongs to this category. Bhaktas who worship you in this personal form, are they superior, or jnanis, karmis or yogis who want to worship the impersonal, unmanifest Brahman or even Paramatma? Who is better between these two? Both are called transcendentalists. Can anybody say what is transcendentalist? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, the person who transcends all the gunas, the materialist gunas, and
Yes.
which is the Shuddha Sattva stage.
Yes. So those who are trying to cross over the three gunas, they are the transcendentalists. They are making those efforts. They have not become transcendental, but they are on that path. They have realized that these three gunas are causing too much problem. This jada, this material world around me, is the cause of all trouble. My attachment to this body is the cause of all trouble. And three gunas are controlling the entire material world. I would like to go beyond these three gunas. So they are called transcendentalists. So both bhaktas and jnanis, karmis, not karmis actually, nishkamya karma yogis and jnanis and ashtanga yogis, all of them can be called transcendentalists. But among these transcendentalists, Arjuna wants to know who is the best, whether the bhaktas who worship a personal form of Krishna or the other categories of people who worship God as impersonal? Who is better? Straightforward question. So when we read Krishna's answer, we should become free from all doubts. After this session, we should stop reading all kinds of non-essential books on Jnana Yoga, on Ashtanga Yoga, self-help books. So many different kinds of books are there in the market, written by Eastern authors, Western authors, based on the Vedic scriptures or based on one's own mental speculation. So many books are available in the market. You can save a lot of trouble by not reading these books. Simply when you accept this conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, which is so very simple to understand. So this is Arjuna's perfect question. This question must be lingering in all our minds because Krishna has been talking right from second chapter so many things. He is first distinguishing Deha and Dehi, that we should know to differentiate, we should know to become tolerant, because the experience of the body is not the experience of the soul. So we should tolerate all this. From that he was starting, and he was talking about Nishkamya Karma, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and so many other things. So we must be confused. At one time he says, you worship me, you become my devotee, like that Krishna is telling. But in other places he is talking about the impersonal form of worship. So Arjuna is settling the doubt forever, because Arjuna is a personal bhakta. He is a devotee of the form of the Lord. So he wants to clarify his own position. Am I safe? So Arjuna is asking this question on behalf of all of us who are going to walk in the footsteps of Arjuna. Am I doing the right thing? Is there something higher than this? That question is being settled now. So this is Arjuna's perfect question. Whenever you tend to move towards Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, etc., please come back to 12th chapter, read the first and second shlokas. And in fact, the whole chapter is only 20 shlokas. If you can every time read it, your position will be safe as a bhakta. You will not go here and there. This is a conversation between a pure soul called Arjuna and Supreme Lord called Krishna. This conversation is happening between them. So we can completely rely on what is being spoken now. Okay, so let us see what Krishna says. So this is Krishna's perfect answer. Devotees who fix their mind on my personal form and always worship me with great faith are perfect. This is my opinion, Krishna says. And this is called Samadhi, Srila Prabhupada says. So let us just dwell a little bit on this shloka, what Krishna is saying. Devotees who fix their mind on my personal form and always worship me with great faith are perfect. This is the opinion of the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada qualifies it by saying this is Samadhi. We know Samadhi is there only in Ashtanga Yoga. The 8th step is called Samadhi. But Prabhupada explains that when a devotee is 100% remembering Krishna and working always for Krishna, he is cooking for Krishna, he is going to the market for Krishna. If you read purports of Prabhupada, you will be thrilled. He goes to the market for Krishna, he does shopping for Krishna, he sleeps for Krishna. Whatever he does, he is doing for Krishna. His mind is totally absorbed in the personal form. And he is always serving the Supreme Lord by all his activities. Whether he is having a family or he is a sannyasi, he is going to work or he is not working, he is working in the farm, he is working in the factory. He is doing everything for Krishna. That means he is in Samadhi. He is no longer aware of himself as separate from the Lord. He only sees himself as part and parcel of the Lord. He is there only to serve the Lord, eternally the servant of the Lord. So when he is engaged in this relationship with Krishna as his eternal servant, and all his activities are taking place only from that consciousness, that is Samadhi. So we are actually qualified to enter into Samadhi when we can make our lives totally dovetailed in the service of Krishna. Every activity will become dovetailed in the service of Krishna. How is it possible? We have to become absorbed in Krishna. Our consciousness has to become absorbed in Krishna. How is it possible? When we love Krishna totally. When we love Krishna exclusively. So Jesus Christ was asked, Jesus, there are so many rules, commandments, which is the most important one? Like thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not cheat, thou shalt not trouble thy neighbor, whatever it is. So many instructions are there. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. All these commandments are there. So they ask, which is the most important? Because There are so many commandments and we cannot follow all these things. Tell us one commandment, most important. Jesus Christ said, love God, thy Father, with all thy heart, all thy mind, and all thy soul. This is what Jesus said is the most important commandment. Everything else will be added unto you. Jesus added, everything will be added unto you, provided you love thy Father, thy God. With everything at your command, you have to love God. That is what is samadhi. When you can love God like that, exclusively, everything else is out of your mind, then you are in samadhi. Then all your actions are done only for Krishna. People may not even understand. Sometimes people may say you are committing a sin, but who cares? You are totally doubted in the service of Krishna, and only you are being led by the love only. Bhakti is actually love. Pure bhakti is only love. So that is the perfection. This is the perfect answer of Lord Krishna. So now let us move on to the other shlokas. This is the most important key shlokas. The question and the answer. Now Krishna will explain further. The answer he will explain further and further. Why impersonal is not recommended by Krishna. Why he recommends bhakti. All that he will explain. Now let us go. 3 and 4. 3 and 4 shloka number. Yetvakshara nirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragama chintyam cha kutasthamachalam dhruvam sanniyam yendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataah. Now, in the second shloka, Krishna settled that bhakti yogis are the best. Those who worship me in my personal form, they are the best. That is settled already. Now Krishna is explaining what is wrong with impersonalists. What is the problem with impersonalists? Why Krishna does not consider them as the best? He is explaining that here. Those who worship, what they are worshipping? If you are not worshipping Krishna, the person, and if you are an impersonalist, saying, even though there may be many devatas and all, ultimately Brahman is formless, and that is the highest realization. If you think like that, then what do you try to worship? You are trying to worship the unmanifest, that which is beyond sense perception. Correct? It's not manifest. Manifest means I can perceive with my senses, but it is impersonal. It's not a person. It's not a form. It's not made of matter. So it is unmanifest and beyond my senses. My senses can perceive only what is made of the 5 elements, or even finer than that, mind, buddhi, ahankar. These are the elements, gross elements. But you are trying to meditate on something which is beyond all these things, beyond all the elements. We already saw Jnana Yogi. What he tries to understand? He tries to understand all the elements of material creation, and he wants to go beyond that. So like that, beyond sense perception, and it is all pervading Brahman, because Brahman is the only substance according to the Jnana Yogis. So impersonalist means Jnana Yogi. So for them, Brahman is all pervading and it's formless, it has no qualities. Then you have to explain, no, then how this material world is there? Material world has got form, I have got form, and so much is constantly happening. How do you say? So what they will say is, no, it is just like, gold and ornaments made out of gold. Gold is the essential ingredient in all the gold ornaments. Gold ornaments may have so many forms, but ultimately the forms are not real. The gold only is real. When you focus on the ornament, the various shapes, you forget the gold. They say you should not do. You should always remember the gold and you should reject the forms. That is what Jnana Yogis say. I hope you can understand what I am saying. The Jnana Yogis, that is why they are always saying neti, neti. Neti means na iti. Iti means this. Na means no. This is not, this is not, this is not. That's called neti, neti, neti. They go on rejecting matter. Impersonalists, the Jnana Yogis, they reject matter so that they can go beyond matter. And Brahman is beyond matter, without any form, without qualities, etc. But when they see matter, they say this is also Brahman only. This is a perversion of the Brahman. temporary manifestation of Brahman. I must go beyond this. So they always say Brahman is all pervading. That means even the forms around me, they are also made of Brahman only. So they will say only Brahman. There was a very famous Jnani. He used to say like everything is made of sugar. So he would say everything is sugar dolls. I see everything as sugar dolls. And ultimately, when the sugar dolls are dropped into water, they all become one with that water. That was the example. Or a doll made of salt, and the doll of salt jumped into the ocean, and then it became one with the ocean. So like that. So they say Brahman is all pervading, within me and without me, everywhere it is. Inconceivable. Naturally, if it is like that, how can I conceive with my material mind or material brain? It is unchanging. Again, the question will come, but all around me changes are taking place. So they will say it is all Maya. The changes what you see is called Maya. They will put within that bracket. All this is Maya. Maya means, according to them, unreal. For Vaishnavas, Maya means temporary. For impersonalists, Maya means unreal. It doesn't exist. It is the vision, defect in my vision. They will give the example of a rope and a snake. When I see rope in dark, in somewhat very hazy light, I may mistake it as a snake. But when I go close and examine, I will realize it is only a rope. So they say it is like that. The universe actually does not exist. It's all Maya. So this is what Jnana is, impersonalist. So unchanging, fixed and immovable. They say nothing is moving. Brahman is simply existing. And all this is illusion. That's what. So that is the impersonal conception of the absolute truth. Please understand, both the devotees and impersonalists, they are trying to approach the absolute truth only. A transcendentalist means he wants to approach the absolute truth. He accepts the world around me is not truth or relative truth. I want to approach the absolute truth. So these people have an impersonal conception of absolute truth. They cannot accept that the absolute truth is a person. We are saying Krishna is the absolute truth. Serve him. Simply start serving Krishna. They say, no. Absolute truth is imperson. That is what they say. So what they have to do after that? They have to control all the senses, because senses will get attracted by sense objects. The sense objects around us, for them, they are all Maya. But they are very afraid. The Maya will catch me. Then I will miss my tryst with the imperson, Brahman. So they want to reject everything. So they control the senses and the mind. And what do? They try to be equal to everyone. No one is my enemy. No one is my friend. Like that, they become equal to everybody. They believe in karma. So because of my past karma, all this is happening. It's all common between a devotee and a jnani. So they say, it's all happening because of my karma, so I have to be equal towards everyone. There is no enemy, etc. And then what they have to do? They will engage in the welfare of all, because they see Brahman in everything. And they serve Brahman in the welfare of all. Then what they achieve finally? They achieve Krishna only. I put only in bracket. So this is what Srila Prabhupada says. At last they also achieve Krishna only. If they can do all these things, the jnani, these are all jnanis, what happens to them? Bahunam janma namante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. He says, jnani is very rare. And out of these jnanis, millions of jnanis, one person may learn the absolute truth. And even among such people, one of them comes to the conclusion that Vasudeva Sarvam, everything is Vasudeva Krishna only. And then he surrenders to him. Such a person is very rare. So what Krishna is saying, for an impersonalist to achieve the highest perfection is very rare. So Krishna is saying, after all this trouble, if they achieve perfection, what do they see? They see Krishna standing there. They are denying Krishna. They are going to get the impersonal Brahman. They go on trying hard. And they do all these things. And ultimately they see Krishna smiling at them. Oh, good boy, you have done everything. Now you can come to me. And then they surrender to Krishna. So whether this is the correct way or directly serving Krishna is the correct way is the choice Krishna is presenting. In either case, without Krishna, there is no perfection. If you go the impersonal path, ultimately you will reach Krishna. If you go direct path, you will immediately reach Krishna. Which is better is something that we have to decide. So again, Krishna is going to emphasize in the fifth shloka. This fifth shloka is a very, very powerful shloka. Krishna is clearly telling why we should avoid impersonal Jnana Yoga, Nishkamya Karma Yoga. Why we have to avoid means why we must focus on Bhakti Yoga. That is explained in the fifth shloka. Very important shloka. You can memorize the entire 12th chapter. And especially if you have Mayavadi background, then fifth shloka you please definitely memorize. Kleshodhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbhiravapyate. So Krishna is explaining. For those whose minds are attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme, it is one of the features of the Supreme, mind you. It is not wrong. The impersonalists, they are not wrong. The Lord has an impersonal feature also. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Sabhyate, Vadanti Tastattva Vidastattvam Tadjnanamadvayam. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Sabhyate. The scriptures tell us that the absolute truth is manifesting in three different forms. One is Brahman, Nirguna Brahman, formless, qualityless, etc. Then Paramatman, the localized consciousness within all of us, who is the Suhrid, the well-wishing friend of all of us, and our guide and the witness of all our actions. That is Paramatma. And then Bhagavan. Bhagavan is Krishna. Paramatma and Brahman are Krishna's expansions, Krishna's manifestations, Krishna's aspects. The Brahman, Paramatma, they are also Krishna only, but they are lesser aspects of Krishna, lesser manifestations of Krishna. These people are going towards that. So for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifest, impersonal feature of the Supreme, to make spiritual advancement is very, very troublesome. If you want one example, you can look at me. I was such a hopeless Mayavadi, impersonalist, for many, many years, starting from my childhood. I used to read so many scriptures of impersonalism, and my life, I made no progress spiritually. But I was thinking I have made a lot of progress. Because of that, I was very puffed up. I thought I am a very advanced jnani and everybody is inferior to me. But I had all kinds of bad habits, but I did not consider it as serious. I never thought bad habits can interfere with my jnana. I thought, no, I am a great jnani, I have this bad habit there. I used to think, what is good, what is bad? Everything is relative only. Ultimately, everything is Brahman. So I used to justify all my bad habits. I never made any progress until I became middle-aged, because I was so attracted by this impersonalism, where I have to simply close my eyes and I have to make inquiry, who am I, like that. So please take my example. Whatever progress I have made today is because of Bhakti Yoga, because I got connected with ISKCON, because I got my Acharya, because I got the books of Srila Prabhupada to read, because I got the wonderful devotee association, and in that devotee association I was reading all these books. And I started practicing for the first time in my life. I started sadhana. As a jnana yogi, there is hardly any sadhana. It is only nitidhyasana. You just go on reading and memorizing and remembering what you read. It's absolutely a hopeless activity. So boring. Not meant for us. So Krishna is so mercifully telling us, supposing you are attached to the unmanifest, impersonal feature of the Supreme, you don't make any spiritual progress at all. Worse than that, you think you are making progress. Imagine what will happen. You think you are making progress, but you are actually not making any progress. You are actually falling down. So Krishna is warning. So in impersonal worship, to make progress is always difficult for those who are embodied. We are all embodied. No? We all have a material body. So for us, impersonalism is impossible. That's what Krishna is saying. And not only that, at every stage it is difficult. As a beginner, you may think it is difficult, but when I advance, it becomes easy. No. And also, if an impersonalist gets the mercy of a devotee, and becomes a devotee and starts sadhana bhakti, even then it will be difficult for him to overcome the baggage of impersonalism that he was carrying once. It makes it difficult to perform bhakti. So I am emphasizing this to all of you because I am sitting in front of you as an example that please don't waste your time in impersonalism. Even if you have been in the habit of reading those books, and if you think I have understood and relished those books, please throw them out of your library. Don't keep them anymore with you. And more than that, if you have any impersonalist friends, or if you are attached to the lectures of some impersonalists and you try to go and sit in those lectures just for entertainment's sake, please stop doing it. It is like pouring a drop of poison into milk. Bhakti is milk. You are collecting milk in a pot, but if you are also engaged in impersonalism, you are putting poison into that milk. You will never be able to make progress in bhakti. So, with these words, we will move on to the next sloka. Is it clear? Krishna is not leaving any room. He's in these 20 slokas, he is making it very, very clear that impersonalism and other paths of transcendental advancement, they are useless. Only bhakti, only bhakti, only bhakti. That's what Krishna is telling us. Now, 6 and 7. Yetu sarvani karmani. He is now talking about devotees. Earlier we saw in 2 slokas he talked about impersonalism. Now he is talking about devotees. Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavamina chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Very, very important shloka and very, very nice shloka. Prabhupada writes extensive purports for this. So he's telling, for those who worship me, Krishna is saying, giving up all activities unto me. That means all their activities they perform only for Krishna. They don't work for themselves. So what are the qualifications? They are always worshipping Krishna. They are doing all activities for Krishna. Their devotion is total, no deviation here and there. Completely they are devoted to Krishna. Anya Abhilashita Sunyam. Anya Abhilashita. There is no desire other than to serve Krishna. There is no desire other than to make Krishna by his service. He has no other desire. So there is no deviation. And engaged in devotional service, Sevanam, Anukulyana Krishna Anushīlanam. You have to actually perform activity. Bhakti is not simply in the mind. I cannot say, I am a bhakta. Yes, I believe in Krishna. Yes, I am a devotee. No. You have to be actively engaged in devotional service. What kind of? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedam. So at this point, I will break from the main theme. Janmashtami is coming. 19th is Janmashtami. Please go to the temple and look for some opportunity to do service. You don't look for service directly to Krishna, because Krishna says, if someone wants to do service directly to me, he is not my devotee. Anyone who says he is my devotee is not my devotee. But if someone says he is the devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. This is Krishna's definition of a devotee. So please go to the temple. Please do whatever little service that you can do. Please do that. Just don't be a silent witness in the temple. Try and do some kind of a service. If you don't know what service to do, please ask. If somebody is doing some service, just go stand by their side and try to help. People are doing so many different kinds of services. See, for example, in Chennai, for Janmashtami, so many cars will be coming. So devotees take the service of guiding the cars to the respective parking slots. Sometimes it could be very, very hot, or it could be heavily raining. But devotees don't mind. They stand there and guide the cars to the proper parking area. Sometimes those who come in the cars, they become irritated. But the devotees are always having a smiling face, and they very patiently do this service. In some temples, they take the service of collecting the chappals and keep giving numbered tokens. And when they come back, they again hand over the chappals to them. So devotees perform this menial service. They pick up the shoes and put them in the bag happily. They are willing to do. Or sweeping, mopping, washing, cleaning. Any kind of service, people are happy to do, because this is what will give you proper understanding of Krishna as a person. Krishna becomes so happy. Please remember, Krishna is a person. Then you can understand the meaning of what I am saying. Krishna as a person is watching every one of your thoughts, words, and actions, and he is reciprocating to you. So when you actually do this kind of service to the devotees of Krishna, he will become very pleased and shower you with realizations. What you will not get after practicing for 10, 20 years, such realizations he will simply dump it into your heart and make you pure. So, engage in devotional service. Please understand, the word bhakti means active service. When you love Krishna, if you don't serve Krishna, then you don't really love Krishna. If you love Krishna, you love his devotees, you serve them, and then you make very good progress. And whatever he is doing, always meditating upon Krishna. And his mind is always fixed. See just how Krishna is saying this. Etu sarvani karmani, whatever action you are doing, mayi sanyasya mat paraha. He is totally absorbed in Krishna and he has given up every other activity. Ananyenaiva yogena, without any deviation, totally merged in Krishna. Mam dhyayanta, is always meditating on me, upasate, worshipping me. For such people, Krishna says, Teshamaham samuddhartha, I am the deliverer of such people. Look at this. Now Krishna will tell what he will do for them. Up to this point, what the devotees are doing. Now Krishna, what he will do? I am the swift deliverer from ocean of birth and death. Tesham, for such people, aham samuddhartha, I am the deliverer of such people. Mrityu samsara sagara. This is a ocean of birth and death, this material world. From this ocean of birth and death, I will deliver them. Bhavami nachirat partha, maya veshida chedasam. Because their consciousness is totally absorbed in me. They don't know anything else. They know only me. For such people, I am the swift deliverer. I don't take long. Krishna uses the word chirat. Chirat means very quickly. That's why the word swift deliverer. He delivers them very quickly from this material world. So Prabhupada gives the example. This world is like a ocean of birth and death. Okay, supposing you are drowning in the middle of the ocean. You are an expert swimmer. Means you are an expert swimmer and you are in the middle of the ocean. And you are flapping your hands and legs like that, hoping that I will cross the ocean. Is it possible? With your best efforts, very little chance, even though you are an expert swimmer. But then supposing the Lord comes on the back of his Garuda and he just extends his hand down to you in the middle of the ocean and he just hold on to his wonderful lotus-like hand and then he lifts you up and puts you on the back of the Garuda and takes you back home. How easy it is accomplished? So easily accomplished. And that is the special place devotees have in the heart of Krishna. That is the devotees' special place in the heart of Krishna. So I hope you all understand. So when our aim should be to become a devotee like this, the way Krishna is describing, then Chirat, quickly Krishna will deliver us from the ocean of birth and death. So it's a long purport. I recommend all of you to read it. But at least one little purport I will read here. Prabhupada is quoting from Varaha Purana. In Varaha Purana, what the Lord says, Nayami paramam sthanam archidadi gatim vina garudaskandam aropya yatecham anivaritaha. The Lord is saying, see, the jnanis and the yogis, they are trying to deliver themselves by their own efforts. So the yogis are practicing dhyana, dharana, samadhi. At that point, the yogi has the capacity to transfer his soul from this body to any planet that he wants, higher planets. He can transfer his soul to any higher planets. After achieving perfection of yoga, they are able to transfer themselves without any assistance from anybody. But Krishna says, but my devotee, he doesn't know all these things and he doesn't need to know because I am going to come. How I am going to come? Garuda skandam aropya. I am going to come sitting on the neck of my Garuda. Garuda skandam. Skandam means neck. I will come sitting on my bird, divine bird, Garuda. Aropya. I will come sitting on my Garuda skanda. And what I will do? Yatecham anivaritaha. I will pick them up. They don't have to go through the archiradi gati. Archiradi means gradual rising to higher and higher and higher planetary systems. That is Archiradigati. Slowly, slowly, slowly. No need. Krishna will come on the back of his Garuda, pick up this devotee and take him directly back home, back to God. He will skip all this sideshow. He will go straight back home, back to God. So this is what Krishna is promising. So this entire purport is extremely relishable, enjoyable. I wish all of you will go through it. And now, having said that, now the matter is settled. Devotee or impersonalist, which is better, what happens to each of them, all that is it. Now Krishna is going to tell us very kindly what to do if I don't love Krishna. That is our problem. Yes, after hearing all these things, still we don't feel love for Krishna. At least we don't feel spontaneous love for Krishna. So Krishna says, now between the sloka number 8 to 12, he is going to explain in a ladder which is the best way to do devotion, and then if you can't do, what next? Can't do, what next? So here also you can understand how merciful Krishna is. He's not giving you a Hobson's choice, either this or nothing. He's not saying that you become my pure devotee or you can't do anything. He's not doing like that. Whereas some of the other religions, they say either you, when you die, you go back to heaven or eternal hell. They say like that, no? If you die, and either you go to God or you go to eternal hell. That's all. There is no second chance for you. That's all. God will forget you. Imagine. So God is never like that. So Krishna is giving further options. So he says, if you become my pure devotee, that is perfect. But if you cannot do that, I am giving you other options. So let us see this. Now starting from the 8th sloka. Mayyeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivashishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshaya. So Krishna says, so here let me read what I have written here. He ranks them from the highest to the lowest. So 8th sloka is the highest what you can do. Pure unalloyed devotion is the highest. Pure unalloyed devotion is the highest. With all humility, I don't think any of us are on that platform. Pure unalloyed devotion to Krishna is the highest. I don't think any of us will qualify there. I hope I am not committing any offense to the devotees here, but almost all of us, we don't have that qualification. There could be a rare one. I don't want to commit any offense to pure devotees, but this is the situation. So the other paths, what Krishna is going to describe, they are meant for those who have less and less affection for him, to uplift them gradually to a state of pure love. So the aim is pure love. Either you are already in pure love or you are going to rise gradually into pure love. Krishna is going to teach all these things. So now the 8th sloka. 8th sloka is perfect love. Just fix your mind on me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence on me. So both mind and buddhi, intelligence, should be engaged in him. Then you will live in me always without a doubt. Nivashishyasi mayyeva. So Krishna is saying, you can live in Krishna. You can live in Goloka eternally by fixing your mind and intelligence on Krishna, the personality of God, completely. So this is perfect, without a doubt. Na samshaya. Don't doubt this. If you can love Krishna like this, you are perfect. You are already back home with Krishna. Not that one day you will go. If you are in this consciousness, you are already in pure Krishna consciousness, and there is no threats for you. But if you can't do, then, my dear Arjuna, the winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind on me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti-Yoga. This is where ISKCON comes in. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So, what is this? This is called Sadhana Bhakti. So, in the 9th sloka, let me read it. Ata chittam samadhatum nashaknosi mayisthiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichaptum dhananjaya. So, Krishna is saying, if you can't do this kind of pure bhakti, then follow the regulative principles of bhakti. So first bhakti, what we saw in the 8th shloka, you can call it as Raganuga bhakti. You have spontaneous attraction for Krishna and your mind naturally becomes absorbed in him. That is 8th shloka. In the 9th shloka, Krishna says, but unfortunately, if you are not on that platform, then you accept the Acharya, most important. You accept a Guru in the Parampara system. Acharya's parampara. You accept a Diksha Guru and you get your Siksha Guru, and you learn. So for us, Srila Prabhupada is our Siksha Guru for all of us. Those who are in ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada is Siksha Guru. We can also accept a Diksha Guru and accept the mantra through him. But you don't have to wait. You can right now start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and the mantra will start doing its job by purifying your consciousness. And when the consciousness is purified, the pure love of Krishna, which is hidden, will become exposed. That means you will feel attraction to Krishna. The more you practice the guidance of Acharya based on the scriptures, your heart will become cleansed. Say Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you have to chant 16 malas every day. Acharya has told you, and you start chanting 16 rounds. Your heart is getting purified. And one day pure love of God will come out. Like digging a well. At some point of time, the water fount is exposed and water starts gushing out, right? So like that, love of Krishna will gush out of your heart. Till that time, don't worry. Follow the Acharya. You are on the right path. It's just a matter of time. You will reach there. So this is the second process that Krishna is telling. If you don't have spontaneous love, practice Sadhana Bhakti. All these purports you have to read. The entire chapter Prabhupada has covered in 20 pages only. So please read the purports. They are all extremely useful. 10th shloka. Abhyasepi asamartosi matkarma paramo bhava madartamapi karmani kurvan siddhimav apsyasi. Supposing you can't do that also, you can't practice sadhana bhakti also. What to do? So Krishna is telling the next best. What to do? Try to work for me. You are not able to do regulative principles. Regulative principles, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pavasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. Directly the angas of bhakti you practice. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, like that. That is the 9th shloka. But assuming you are not able to do under the guidance of spiritual master all these things, then what to do? You work for me. What is this work for me? So Prabhupada explains that there are devotees who are serving Krishna. You help them. You are not directly doing bhakti, but help those who are doing bhakti. And what the devotees are doing? They are trying to distribute the love of God to the common man. Yes. So in that work, you help them. Say, for example, they want to build a temple for Krishna, where they can attract the common man. So help them financially to build the temple, or help them to collect funds from others. Or if you don't have that capacity, you go and serve them in whatever job they are doing in the temple. So you assist them in doing this work. In performing their bhakti, you assist them. That way, you will be in the association of devotees, and very quickly, you will also develop love of God. So this is the third. First is perform spontaneous love bhakti. Second is practice sadhana bhakti under guidance of spiritual master. Thirdly, you work for Krishna. You work for Krishna. By working for Krishna means you have to assist those who are the servants of Krishna. That way also you will come, because the association of devotees is so very powerful. So that's what Krishna is recommending. But supposing even this is not possible because of family situation, they are not encouraging you to engage with devotees, they don't allow you to go to the temple, they don't allow you to perform bhakti. Unfortunately, you have such a situation. Then what to do? So there also Krishna is recommending. Ataitadabi asaktosi kartum madyoga mashritaha sarvakarma phalatyagam tatah kuruyat atmavan. Then Krishna recommends, then you do nishkamya karma. You perform your duties properly and don't become attached to the results. So nishkamya karma comes at this point where you are not able to engage with Krishna or Krishna's devotees totally. Then he recommends, then you give up the results of your work and try to be situated in your soul. Remember that you are a spirit soul and you do only your duties without attachment to the results. So there is a next process. Then what will happen? You will get punya. By accumulating punya, you will get sukriti, and then you will come into the association of devotees and you will gradually start performing bhakti. So Nishkamya Karma Yoga can gradually bring you to the knowledge of the soul. You will realize by performing Nishkamya Karma that I am actually spirit soul. It will lead you to Jnana Yoga. Then you will come in the association of devotees and you can also become a bhakta. So please understand, the highest is to perform bhakti. But if somebody is unable to do, then Nishkamya Karma Krishna is recommending. Not the Nishkamya Karma is higher. So in Nishkamya Karma, you are doing various kinds of charities, etc. By that you are acquiring punya, and slowly your consciousness will become cleansed. Because your hard-earned money, you are spending it for welfare work for others. So that is good. So slowly your mind will become purified. But if you serve Krishna, your mind will become purified very fast. This is the next option. Okay. So then, if you are not able to do this also, then Krishna gives a list. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phalatyagas tyagas chantiranantaram. So Krishna is now rating different methodologies. So he says, if you can't do that also, then go for Jnana Yoga, cultivation of knowledge. You cultivate knowledge. What is this knowledge? Knowledge means only one thing. I am not the body, I am a spirit soul. You have to free yourself from attachment to this material world. That is really knowledge. So that you have to cultivate. Engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. But better than knowledge, meditation. Meditation means dhyana, where you focus your mind on the Brahman or Paramatma. That is meditation. Better than meditation is renunciation of fruits of action, nishkamya karma. By doing that, you can attain peace of mind. So, without renunciation, there is no peace of mind. Krishna will again and again emphasize that in Bhagavad Gita. You have to do tyaga. Sannyasa and tyaga, it's the same thing. Tyaga means you perform your activity, you surrender the results. It's called tyaga. Sannyasa means you surrender the activity also. You don't have any attachment. Both are, actually tyaga is considered even superior, where you perform your duties, but you have no attachment to the results. You are doing your duty only as welfare work for the rest of society. So like that, Krishna is grading all these activities. So if one cannot do bhakti, then he has to go for Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga or Nishkamya Karma Yoga. This is what Krishna is listing out here in this. So he says, whichever you are able to do best, that you can perform. Okay. So next, Krishna is going to describe. Now, when Krishna is describing bhakti, he cannot stop actually. As he is talking about bhakti, his mind is going to his devotees. So now, in the remaining 8 shlokas, he will describe the qualities of his devotees only. So I will cover it fast. This is Krishna's nature. What is Krishna's nature? To glorify his devotees. He always glorifies his devotees. When Krishna comes into this material world, that is what he is doing all the time. He is trying to expose the amazing qualities of his devotees, and that is how the various pastimes are performed. So here I have given some pictures. You would have noticed up to the previous slide, there were pictures of Lord Krishna's Janma. So because of Janmashtami, I kept those pictures. Here you are seeing 2 babies in the picture. One baby with a golden complexion, another baby is a bluish complexion. So this golden complexion baby is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this lady who has brought a lot of gifts is Sita Thakurani. She is the wife of Advaita Acharya. The lady holding the baby in her lap is Sachimata. She is the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sita Thakurani is immediately remembering Krishna. Oh, this child is actually Krishna, like that. So this is the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Gaura Purnima day. It will come sometime in Feb, March. So that is the picture I have given here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Lord Shri Krishna. He came as a devotee to teach us how to perform bhakti. Otherwise, who will teach us to perform devotee? He is a spiritual master for the whole world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a spiritual master for the whole world. Krishna is also a spiritual master because Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita first. Yes, so he is also a Jagadguru. Same way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us how to surrender to Krishna by doing the surrender himself in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So he taught us. So Srimati Radharani is the personification of what is bhakti. She teaches what bhakti is, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Also Krishna in the complexion, the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani. So now Krishna is going to glorify the qualities of devotees. And I will read all the slokas and then I will explain. Up to the end of the chapter, all the slokas. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna yevacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukakshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nischayah mayyarpita manobuddhir yomad bhaktasya me priyaha yasmanno dvijate loko lokanno dvijate chayah harshamarsha bhayotvege mukto yasacha me priyah anapeksha shuchirdaksha उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तस्य मे प्रियः यो न हर्ष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान् यस्य मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दा स्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिर् भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्मामृतमिदं यतोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियः. Like that this chapter ends. Now this is a list of qualities what Krishna is seeing in his devotees and is glorifying them for that. Before we discuss this, let me explain to you. Prabhupada explains like this, that it is not necessary for a devotee to directly make efforts to develop these qualities. Please understand. Devotee's business is to serve Krishna. His business is to serve devotees of Krishna. His business is to be always engaged in the pleasure of Krishna. That is all. Then what about all these qualities? They will automatically develop in the devotee. Because all these qualities are in Krishna also. If someone is constantly remembering Krishna, the qualities will manifest in that person also. But Prabhupada says, as a devotee, practicing devotee, we should remember that Krishna likes his devotees to have all these qualities. So we should observe, am I developing these qualities? We have to see. But not that we have to exclusively focus on developing these qualities. But we should be aware of these qualities. Are these qualities developing in me? Am I really making progress in Krishna consciousness? Because if I am progressing, these qualities must develop in me. One or the other. We have to see progress in our, not that one day we become completely pure, but improvement we have to observe in ourselves. For that purpose only we should use this list. But we should not give up bhakti and focus on developing these qualities. That will be wrong. Rather, we should increase our bhakti so that these qualities can develop in us. We should become more and more focused on bhakti. So now let us see. The devotee is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, because devotee sees everything as Krishna. He sees Paramatma in everyone, and he knows Paramatma is an expansion of Krishna. So he has no envy at all. Because he loves Krishna, he loves every living entity. Same way, he is not thinking himself as a proprietor, so he is free from false ego, because he knows everything belongs to Krishna and he knows that I am simply his servant. So in the mood of master servant, he realizes my business is only to serve the Lord, nothing belongs to me. Same way, he is equal in happiness and distress, and he is tolerant because he knows these dualities belong to the material world. They are not real. Because he is remaining on the soul platform, because he is on the transcendental platform, he is not disturbed by the dualities of material world, and he is always satisfied, because when you are meditating on Krishna, you get supreme satisfaction. Not everything in this world, all the sense objects, they are all coming from Krishna only. Krishna is the source of all sense objects. So when you are surrendering to Krishna, you have total satisfaction. You are not going to look here and there for satisfaction. Same way, the person becomes self-controlled. He becomes engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee is very dear to me. So in each of these shloka, Krishna will use the word Priya, 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 Priya. He's showing how they are very dear to him. So, but another shloka. The devotee does not put anyone into difficulty, nor is he put into difficulty by anybody else? Because if devotee gets into some problem, he will say, I have done some sin, I have done some karma, only my karma is coming back to me. Actually, I deserve to suffer much more, but Krishna has reduced my suffering. He will think like that. He will always think, I am a great sinner, I deserve to suffer worse, like that. So, nobody can put him into difficulty, nor he will put anybody consciously into difficulty, because he is a friend of everyone. Just like Krishna is a friend of everyone, devotee is also a friend of everyone. And he is equal in happiness and distress. Some repetitions are there, but that's not a defect. Krishna is now glorifying his devotees, so in the process, he is simply out of control. The devotee has no fear or anxiety, meaning material fear or anxiety. Devotee is not having. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, pure, Prabhupada explains, the devotee takes 3 times bath in a day. Because the Guru guides him, because he is serving the Lord, he wants to be pure both in and out. Inside purity comes from good thoughts, and outside purity by regular bathing, brushing, etc. Eating clean food, only prasadam one should eat, like that. And he is expert because the Lord is present in his consciousness, the Lord is sitting in his heart. Whatever he does it perfectly, without anxiety, free from all pain, not striving for some result. He is only serving Krishna, but the results he is not bothered about it. He just goes on serving Krishna. Who is the best example for this? Srila Prabhupada. If you read Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrit, you will see how he is striving constantly without worrying about the results. Then the devotee neither rejoices nor grieves, he neither laments nor desires. He renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Actually, in the material world, there is nothing auspicious. There is nothing auspicious. Everything is inauspicious in this material world. Whatever you get will be taken away from you. Whatever you gain will be lost someday. Even our own life, one day we have to die. So everything we have will go away. So what is auspicious in this world? So the devotee doesn't care. Auspicious, inauspicious, he doesn't care. He is equal in all situations. He is equal to friends and enemies. Nobody is a friend or enemy to him. He is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy. He is always free from contaminating association, like Mayavad, Shunyavad, Impersonalism. He stays away from that. A devotee is always silent. Prabhupada explains. Always silent doesn't mean that Mauna Vrata. He is always silent means he is only talking about Krishna. When you are only talking about Krishna, that is equal to silence. You don't talk about anything else. You open your mouth only to glorify Krishna. Then you are actually silent. He is satisfied with whatever he gets. He does not care for any particular place of residence. Why? Because the Lord is sitting in his heart. Wherever he goes, it is Vrindavan only. Because the devotee has Krishna in his heart, and wherever Krishna is there, that place becomes Vrindavan. So devotee himself is called a Tirtha. Devotee himself is called a Tirtha. He becomes a holy place because Krishna stays with him. And a person who is engaged in devotional service to me, such a person is very dear to me. And then the last shloka. Those who know this imperishable path of devotional service, what Krishna has described in this chapter, if we know this path and you completely engage with faith in the bhakti, with faith, what is that faith? Supreme truth is a person. Supreme absolute truth is a person, and that person is Krishna. If you have that complete faith and you engage in the process of devotional service, making Krishna the supreme goal, such a devotee is very, very dear to me. This is how Krishna concludes. So once again, I wish to offer my best wishes to you in celebration of Janmashtami, which is coming up very soon. I once again request all of you to serve the Lord in whichever way is possible for you. Pranair arthair biya vacha shreya acharanam sada. That means you can serve the Lord with your prana, with your very life, or Artha, with your wealth, you can serve the Lord. Whatever wealth, you can donate to the temple, either in the form of cash or in the form of kind. You can offer rice, you can offer dal, you can offer ghee, you can offer edible oils, you can offer fruits, vegetables. So, Artha, Diya, with your intelligence, you can serve the Lord by helping the temple in meeting people, in encouraging people to make donations, to make nice newsletters to circulate to the public so that they can, in whichever way, or you can even teach Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita to others by using your intelligence. Vacha. So Diya means intelligence, Vacha means words. So Pranair, Arthair, Diya, Vacha. Whichever way possible, mind, body, intelligence, by my wealth, with everything, whichever way possible, if you serve Krishna in this Janmashtami, you will make rapid progress. Don't think Krishna took birth 5,000 years ago. That is not the purpose of celebrating Janmashtami. Every Janmashtami, Krishna can take birth in our heart. Actually, when Devaki became pregnant, how she became pregnant is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. First, Krishna appeared in the heart of Vasudeva, and then Vasudeva was shining like a million suns. And then Krishna transferred himself from his heart to Mother Devaki's heart, and then she was shining so effulgently. And then Krishna descended into her womb, and then he took birth. And when he took birth, he had 4 arms. Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, with full, rich, curly, black, silky hair on his head. All his teeth were present, and he spoke to them in a rumbling, thunder-like voice. So this is how Krishna was born. They saw him as 4-armed, and then when Devaki prayed to him, he became 2-armed. Then he gave instructions to his father how to take him across the Yamuna and deposit him in the house of Nanda Maharaja by the side of Yashoda. So this is the way Krishna was born. So let us completely surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. Very appropriately, in this week of Janmashtami, we are discussing Bhakti-Yoga. We have crossed all 11 chapters. We have come to Bhakti-Yoga. I sincerely request all of you, and I also pray to the Lord and to the Parampara that they should all assist you in surrendering yourself to the lotus feet of the Lord and performing Bhakti-Yoga, ultimately to go back home, back to Godhead in this very lifetime. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandvat.
Dandvat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Happy Janmashtami, Prabhuji.
Happy Janmashtami. Yes.
Prabhuji, my question is like from this 12th chapter, 13 onwards, in all these shlokas, whichever the devotee in ISKCON or everywhere, in any religion we find in society also, all these people have these qualities only, non-envious, the helping people or some everywhere, even if they are not Krishna conscious. So most of the people are coming in this category only, na Prabhuji?
Do you think so?
I think everybody, like 90% of ISKCON people also, I think, Prabhuji.
So actually, only a devotee can be a well-wisher of everyone. Otherwise, see, for example, we are celebrating our Independence Day. We are showing our love to all fellow men. We are all Indians. We are all one family. But at the same time, even today, they must have killed millions of goats and rabbits and pigs and cows, slaughtering and eating them. How is it justified? So you cannot say human beings are special and we are going to kill all other living entities to feed them. So that way, people have a very incomplete understanding of what is violence and what is non-violence. People don't have this consciousness that there is a soul present in the bodies of all living entities. So in that sense, these qualities, even if you see some good qualities in non-devotees, the scripture rejects it.
Correct.
Narada Muni says, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati kinchana sarvair gunair tatra samasate suraha. Only if you are a devotee of Krishna, all the good qualities of devatas will automatically manifest in you. Because who are the devatas? Devatas are simply personifications of the various energies of Krishna. So all those gunas will manifest in a devotee automatically. But even if a devotee does something sinful, but it is a pure devotee, the Lord says, even then he is not impure. Because he is doing undeviating bhakti to me, very soon, kshipram bhavati dharmatma, very soon he will become a pure soul. Whereas, if there are other people who are non-devotees, who are displaying these qualities, then harava bhaktasya kuto mahat guna. He says, there is a good quality in someone who is not a devotee of Krishna. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahat guna. Manorathena saditavato bahi. They are simply traveling on the ratha of their mind, chariot of their mind. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are bad. If things happen as they want, they appear to be good people. But if they are disappointed in their life, if they are frustrated in their life, they will display their wild side. So the good side is not permanent. The mind is constantly fluctuating. So when the mind is sometimes good, that means Sattva Guna is dominating. But Sattva Guna will go down, Rajo Tamo Guna will start dominating after some time. Then the same quality you cannot expect from them. So when a devotee is there, these good qualities will develop in them automatically. But if a devotee does not display these qualities also, we must respect such a devotee. But if someone who is a non-devotee, even if they display these qualities, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. These qualities are not permanent. Why? A devotee's qualities are transcendental qualities. And non-devotee's qualities are within the three modes of material nature. They are totally different things. They may appear similar, but they are very different. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Good answer, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
One doubt, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
According to Gita, Lord Krishna has no birth or death.
Prabhu, Lord Krishna?
Has no birth.
Sorry, I don't hear you very well. So I think you lost you also. Yes, Prabhu, can you say that again? Mohandas Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
I didn't hear you.
He has no birth or death, Lord Krishna.
Yeah.
He appeared and disappeared.
Yeah.
But whether I want to know whether the Devaki has affected the delivery of Krishna or because he descended the womb of Devaki.
And then he appeared outside.
Only appeared. Yes, appeared.
Yeah. He was not born like a normal delivery, the cutting of the umbilical cord, all these things was not there with him.
Yes. Doubt is clear. Thank you.
Yeah. As actually it is at one stage, it is also explained in the scriptures that some of the maids were surprised that there was no umbilical cord was visible in the baby when they saw him next to Yashoda Mai. Of course, everything is arranged by Yogamaya. So she will do all these wonderful pastimes. So Krishna is actually fulfilling the prayers. Devaki and Vasudeva had prayed for thousands of years to have Krishna as their child. So to fulfill their desires, Krishna comes. But actually, please understand that Krishna is within every atom. So not that it is not possible for Krishna to go into the womb and then take birth. If he wants, he can do that also. Or he can take birth from a pillar also. Or he can take birth, suddenly he can appear, for example, to Dhruva Maharaj. He just appeared in front of him. So anything is possible for the Lord. Sometimes he accepts the father and mother to show his mercy to devotees. They want to become his father and mother. So Krishna says, all right, I can become your child, like that.
Thank you.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, to transit from sadhana bhakti to spontaneous love, Prabhuji,
Yes.
is it in our hand? I think because this is, I think, totally Krishna's Leela, or it is totally in Krishna's hand to be able to fix our mind on him, to engage our intelligence in him 24 hours, 365 days. do we have any role in that, Prabhuji? We can go up to Sadhana Bhakti, that is also very difficult, but we can do Kirtanam, we can do Japa and everything. But to transit from Sadhana Bhakti to spontaneous love, how is it possible? It's not in our hand, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
It's only in Krishna's hand.
Yeah, very good question. Let me clarify to you, Mataji. Even to do sadhana bhakti is not in our hands. Even to do sadhana bhakti is not in our hands. There are a few steps before that. What is that? Shraddha. First you should have Shraddha. Then you have to come to Sadhu Sangha. To get that Shraddha, there is something before that. That is Sukriti. Not ordinary Sukriti. Bhakti Sukriti you should have. That Bhakti Sukriti you collect by unknowingly coming into the association of devotees and serving them in some way. The Adhyada Sukriti it's called, Bhakti Sukriti, it's accumulating. And when it reaches a certain critical level, then you develop Bhakti, faith. You develop faith in devotee association, develop faith in scripture, develop faith in Guru, develop faith in Krishna. Without this, nothing is possible. So, even to get that Shraddha, you are dependent on devotees' mercy. So, there is nothing in your hands actually. But having said that, we should not go to sleep. Oh, nothing is in my hands. Whenever it happens, let it happen. We cannot do that because the mercy also depends on your endeavor. So we have to do our best in our sadhana bhakti. But really speaking, we should always remain humble enough that I am not doing my sadhana bhakti. It is simply the mercy of devotees in the devotee association, the spiritual master's mercy by Krishna's invisible hand is guiding me, and that is how I am able to do sadhana bhakti also. Please don't underestimate sadhana bhakti, because sadhana bhakti is the link to the spontaneous love. It will, Prabhupada again and again assures you, please do your sadhana bhakti properly. Chant with attention. Chant and hear. That is the most important thing. So, in many occasions, people used to ask Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, when I chant, I see some red light going on in my head. What should I do? Prabhupada said, keep chanting, it will disappear. Or somebody would say, when I chant, I can see the vision of Krishna in front of me. Prabhupada says, don't worry, if you keep on chanting, it will disappear. Whether they say good things or bad things, Prabhupada says, don't worry, you just keep on chanting and hearing. Chant and hear. If you are not hearing, there is a problem. When you are hearing what you are chanting, then you are perfect. Just continue to do that. Everything will happen automatically. Okay, devotee association and regular chanting and avoiding offenses. If you do these things, you will go into spontaneous love of Krishna. And remember, someone like Srila Prabhupada is saying that in this very lifetime he can go back home, back to God. When somebody says, how many lifetimes, etc., Prabhupada would discourage them, say, what is this? Let us go back in this very lifetime. If Prabhupada is saying it, he is not exaggerating. It is possible that in this one lifetime, we can develop the spontaneous love. Because without spontaneous love, there is no question of going back to Krishna. Those who don't have spontaneous love, they don't go back to Krishna. They remain here. So that will come, but we have to sincerely practice in the association of devotees. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we'll close the session for today. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Janmashtami Maho Mahotsav ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.